Today we're going to show you how to change the upper dish rack on your dishwasher, and it's a really easy job. All we're going to need is a number 15 Torx driver. Let me show you how we do it. Now the first step will be to open the dishwasher door, and we're going to remove all the items from the upper rack. We'll pull the rack out far enough that we can access the rack stops. We'll just reach in and depress those stops and slide them up out of the rails. We'll set those aside. Then we're going to pull that upper rack completely out of the dishwasher. And just push the rails back into position, and we can close the door up. Now if your model does not have an adjustable rack, you will need to transfer the roller assemblies from the old rack to the new one. If yours is an adjustable rack, we'll need to install a new adjustable rack assembly. Now our first step will be to remove the upper spray nozzle. So we need to release that locking collar first, and there's a couple of tabs on the bottom side of that. Simply depress those. And then slide that up over the center portion of it. Now we'll be able to depress the tabs that hold it to the rack itself, and then drop it out through the bottom. Now again, if your rack was a non-adjustable rack, you would remove the rack rollers from the old rack and transfer them to the new one. So the non-adjustable rollers, we're going to depress the locking tab at the top and then unclip it from the side of the wire, rotate it, and lift it out. We'll do that for all four of them. Now the two rear ones are right on the last section of the rack, and the forward ones are in the center or 7th gap up, and it's the same gap that the center spray nozzle would attach to. So again, we're going to remove all four of these, and then we'll transfer them to the new rack. Now we're ready to install our non-adjustable rack rollers on our new rack. First we need to locate the rear of the rack, and there's a center tine with a little vinyl cap over it, and that is going to be the rear of the rack. So we'll start there by taking one of our roller assemblies and just rotate it into position, and we'll lift it up and lock the top portion of it onto that side wire. And we'll count up to the center and install our next one in the same manner. And then we'll do the same on the opposite side. Now if your model had an adjustable rack, we will install these new adjustment brackets onto the new upper rack. So we'll locate both right and left, keeping in mind that the rear of the rack has a little center wire on it with a little vinyl cap on it. So that is the rear of the rack. So that would indicate that we'll put the right hand one on this side. So we'll tuck the square knob through the side of the rack, lift it up through, pivot it into position, and we'll take that cover assembly and we'll locate the little tab on the bottom of it. We'll center on the bottom of the adjustment. We'll slide over the shaft, and then it should squeeze in between the tines. Then we'll install the opposite side of it. That fork piece will slide in over top of the axle on that adjustment and in underneath the cover. And then we'll install the number 15 Torx screws to hold that together. Now tighten both of those screws securely. And then just turn the knob to ensure that the rollers are adjustable. Then we'll flip the rack around and do the opposite side. Now we can install our center spray nozzle. We'll locate the center of the rack, push it through from the bottom, clipping one side, and then we'll depress those tabs, lock it into place. And we'll install the locking collar with the two tabs facing side to side and press it in until it locks into place. Now next we'll install the FlipUp covers and the pivots that attach to them. So we'll start by installing these on the rack first, and the pointed ends will go down, and we'll put one right at the front edge. We'll install the first one on the front of the rack. You may need to flex that a bit to pop the ends into position and then snap it down onto that middle wire. And then we'll install the flip-up cover. Now they fit fairly snug, so you'll have to put a little bit of force on those to pop them into place. And that will keep small items from flying around in there with the pressure from the upper spray arm. And we'll install one on the rear as well, and we'll come up 3 tines and rotate that into position. And again, we'll snap it onto that center rail. Press it down until it locks into position, and then install the cover. Now we'll do the same for the opposite side. Now to reinstall that top rack, we're going to open that door again. We'll pull those side rails out. And we'll insert the rear of the rack first. Just get one of the wheels in on both sides until we get all 4 of them in position. And you can push that rack all the way back in, and then just pull the rails out past the rack, and we'll install the rack stops. And the open end goes down through the hole on the top of the rails. Press it down until the little locking tab clicks into position. And our repair is complete.